What's going on, everyone? Costi here with PickDawgz, here with Eric Pathy, who is drinking coconut water.
What's going on, guys? First episode of 2026.
We're here. We haven't done it for a couple weeks because of the holidays. Eric looks like he just
I'm still sweating.
left the Tour de France. Didn't get a chance to. Maybe he runs triathlons. You know, usually in the triathlons they change. In this case, he is keeping it fresh. What is that? Is that flowers on your shirt? What is that?
What am I call it? Orchids.
Orchids.
Yeah.
Got it. How was the ride?
The ride is right over there. It was the indoor trainer. I hopped right off and came right over to the camera. I wanted to do 10 miles. I got 8.5, but I was going to keep you waiting until I got that last 1.5 miles in, but I decided I would pause.
All right. Well, we're here. Lot to talk about. It's been a couple weeks, and a lot of things are shifting just because the landscape of what we do eternally is obviously always moving. But before we get right into the show, some of the biggest news from my end, that team right there, end of a playoff run, meaning it never even got started. John Harbaugh, after 18 years, was dismissed, fired, separation. And it's the way I look at it, Eric. And, you know, I know there was a lot of talk when it happened on Monday night and, on Tuesday night. And a lot of people were irate. A lot of people were happy. It was like a mixture of both. But in reality, he ran his course here in Baltimore, 18 wonderful years. And just like Andy Reid, who was a head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles for a very long time, left, ended up having a great career in Kansas City. Philadelphia ended up winning a Super Bowl without him. Same thing with Tony Dungy in Tampa Bay. Great team, and then obviously moved on and had a great career into Indianapolis. I think it's just the next step. We just needed a change. So I was actually rooting for it because I believe that something needed to change. We couldn't go into another year with all these expectations and have a less than a Super Bowl, because that's right now in this Lamar era. Anything less than a Super Bowl is a complete miss. The margins are this razor thin right now for the Baltimore Ravens. While most teams are happy to make the playoffs, while most teams are happy to have a winning record, we're not okay with a winning record. We're not okay with a first round loss. We're not okay with not even making the playoffs. If you don't actually make it to the Super Bowl at this point, that's what the expectations are. So, you know, as a fan, as a, sports analyst and guy in the media, and I talk to Jeremy all the time, who's on the radio. We've discussed this a lot. We've had our rants. We have our discussions, and, you know, I think we all agree. So somebody asked, are the picks that you give to clients different from each other?
Well, so let's talk about that. So after last night, I believe I'm 10-0 on YouTube in the last 10. And, you know, I was trying to bring up my channel right now. I'll do it right now and see what kind of comments we got today. Yeah, I had
the question that he asked. I don't think you were listening to the question. Are the picks that you give clients different from each other?
As in me and you?
Right.
Well, we're not handicappers. So explain to them we don't sell our own picks.
So we don't sell our own picks. We give you access to syndicate groups that are betting the games themselves.
We're brokers.
Right now, we don't have really any potential for crossover. There has been seasons in the past where we had, like, for example, Big Al. If you were a member of Big Al's channel on his All Access, and if you were a member of David Miller, potentially you could have crossover because they're competing groups. They have no correlation to each other. So if you were on both those channels, we did recommend that not to be on both because there is that potential of a crossover because, again, they read the board completely different every day. For Dime Club, no, absolutely not. That was his follow-up. He said for Dime Club, no. There's only one Dime Club. So there's only one Dime Club. That's it. So the way, if you're talking about the free pick videos.
Oh yeah, they because I'm doing the video. We're all doing the videos 24 hours in advance. Yeah, there's several times. So like I give an example. Big Al had Oak City yesterday, and my free pick was the Jazz. But I'm doing the game based on not syndicate based on a system, not syndicate information, and it has nothing to do with subscribing. If you were a member of the Dime Club yesterday, and I want to elaborate on something. I had one play yesterday, Virginia, minus 13.5, and I got a text this morning from a client. Couldn't bet it at FanDuel because I'm in Virginia. If you live in a state that restricts the games that you bet on, meaning you live in New Jersey, you live in New York, you live in Virginia, and you can't bet on the teams in that area, just get an offshore account to complement for when there's like this. It would be like opening up a stock trading account and they say, well, you can't trade Apple because you live in the Big Apple. It's like, go open up another account. I understand the legalization. A lot of people are not used to betting offshore because they're legal bettors only. You know, the real guys that get it right up to what are the guys in Florida. I mean, basically, if you bet at Hard Rock, you have no shot at winning because you're just in one sports book with one set of rules, with one set of lines. And I'll say to these guys, why don't you go offshore? So you get a winner yesterday and you don't play because you live in Virginia, open up an offshore. Anyway, go ahead.
Also, this guy, because did we do a completely interactive show? We try to answer every single comment. I have no idea what you're talking about. There's no Bears jerseys in my background. That is a Ray Lewis Miami jersey. That is a Lamar Jackson Ravens jersey. So not quite sure what you are talking about. Next question. If I did 1K for each, the picks are, Charlie, I want to answer this, but it's too vague of a question. I don't know what you mean. The picks are different. If you're a subscriber of...
No. Stop, Costi. Let me answer Charlie. Charlie, go to my video today. There's a phone number. This is one of the things that I've basically elevated the membership by not communicating on text. It's an interactive show, but the reality is, like, if somebody won't call me or talk to me, then they're not actually that serious. So remember, if you do 1K a game, I have 8 games today that I'll be releasing. Are you able to bet all 8 games for 1,000? And if you are, that means your bankroll should be 100,000. So this is the thing that I talk about on my videos. The amount of money one claims they're wagering on a game is only accurate if they can bet on 100 games for the same amount simultaneously. That would dictate 1% of your bankroll. Most clients will say to me, if I bet 1K a game and have a $5,000 bankroll. Now, Charlie may be different. Charlie might have $1 million in his bankroll. God bless Charlie. I'm telling you that for the most of the time, I'm talking to clients that are betting too high a percentage of their bankroll. They don't understand money management is more important than the names of the teams. And they simply would rather just bet and try to take a small amount of money and turn it into a large amount of money. And that's what we call in sports betting a leak. So, Charlie, if you have 100,000, you should be betting 1,000 a game. If you have 10,000, you should be betting 100 a game. When I talk to clients on the phone, they say, I'm not going to bet 100 a game. What are you, crazy? How am I going to? Okay, so you just bet till you lose all your money and then you start all over again. We already know that 99.99999999999% of all people betting lose. So what is the 1% that wins? They risk 1% per game. There are other systems that we have, like Big Al's All Access, where there's a rating system, but then we get into Kelly criterion math betting, and that's at a whole nother elite level. So anyway, just wanted to respond in a way Charlie understands. What you bet a game doesn't matter. What the total amount of money you're working with is the only thing that matters, respectfully. I have 8 games. If you pay me tonight, I have 8 games. You can't pick and choose. So if you're going to bet 1K, you're going to risk 8,000 tonight. And then you should have 92,000 available if all 8 games lose, where you're not calling me up and crying like a little bitch. Not calling you a bitch, Charlie, just making the point.
All right, next, I'll answer this one. So what I always say, if you happen to have 2 simultaneous syndicates, because you would subscribe to David Miller, which is somebody that's completely off the PickDawgz site and is a very formidable pro bettor, and you happen to have Al's, this has happened in the past. I always tell guys, you have to have 2 simultaneous books that you're playing one syndicate in and another syndicate in, and you're running them simultaneously like 2 different funds. So the excitement of the entertainment factor of watching a game win and lose, you can't do that. And I always say, if people are doing this, this is only for seasoned, experienced bettors. This is not just a random guy that calls us that goes, I want this, I want that. This is seasoned, experienced bettors that I don't always recommend, but there's certain guys that are so familiar with both that they have done it in the past. Brad being one of them who's in this chat. And it sometimes creates, it creates friction because it's just the way it goes. So that's why we don't always recommend it. And it's a case-by-case scenario. Next question. Of course, you have to have a VPN if you're going to bet Pinnacle, if you're going to bet Chris. Specifically, if you're even in specific states, you technically can bet other legal books like FanDuel and DraftKings. You just have to have, there's a way to get around it where if you are in a legal state and there's a computer set up where you could bet through the algorithm of that VPN. But again, this is high level experienced traders know how to navigate the markets. It is something that I could teach anybody, but it's not just as simple as a VPN if you're looking to use like DraftKings or FanDuel and you're in a state like Texas or California. Next one. Here we go. Cal, what's up, brother? Yes. The NHL underdogs have been very hot, and it's nothing new to us because this is Eric, this is the same theory you have been telling people for baseball for as long as I've known you. It's never changed year after year. Underdogs rule when it comes to non-spread betting like NHL and baseball.
Yep. I mean, and I still get people that want to argue with me and they want to tell me, it's like, okay, so you have to win 52.38% of the time laying 110 odds to break even on a point spread. You can win 40% of the time in underdog betting and be profitable. You're talking about a 12.38% differential on profitability of what it takes to be profitable, not to break even. So 40% isn't, I can be profitable at 40%. I'm not even profitable at 52.38%. I'm breaking even. But the amount of subscribers goes down. It's like I already told you, I'm changing the way I'm doing baseball. Tell everybody what I'm doing for baseball this season.
Well, this is something new that we're doing, specifically with the underdogs that was very profitable. It's the same people that are doing the NHL for us. They already said that the value is not to have a lot of clients, because what's happening right now with NHL is we're releasing the games, and clients that decide to wait an hour on betting the games, some of those games go from being an underdog to a favorite, which takes away a lot of the value in the long run. So with baseball, we're not going that route. We're not going to have 100 or 200 clients on the channel because it's going to lose value. There's going to be a maximum of 40 guys, period, that are going to be invested into this. It's going to be a high ticket to get in.
Tell them
Not,
it's 25.
Go ahead.
25,000, 40 guys. That's it. That's $1 million to pay this group. And I will have my other underdog channel, which I had last year, which was profitable, made 27 units, made 27 units for the year. This particular group, looking at their numbers, I don't want to they made 149 units last year. Their volume was much greater than mine as well, where I'm not playing as much volume on, because I actually have a system that I have used for years and refined with people like Troy, who run databases and different metrics. And it gives me, it's low volume, 3, 4, 5 games. They might bet the whole board every day. You might have 15 games in play in baseball, over 800 bets. Because again, what you're doing is you're grinding that volume. But like they said, too many people because for instance, they had one guy betting 10,000 a game, made 1.5 million last year, spread across. So his biggest thing was getting the bets in. And again, it also gets rid of the riffraff. And I'm not calling small bettors the riffraff. It just gets rid of the emotional bullshit, because it is a marathon. And it's like, as Brad knows, he's on here, on my baseball, I was down 11 units of the All-Star break. And then I you know how many guys I talked to that at the end, I stopped playing at All-Star break. You were down 11 units. And then I won 38 units from the All-Star break. So then I wound up being up 27 units. So it's like, if somebody invests 25,000, it's a high net worth individual, a big bettor that's playing a long-term strategy, and there's going to be no issues because he's just going to go, he's going to roll. It doesn't matter where we are in the All-Star break. Dogs are, look, if you're a small bettor and you're watching this and you want any shot of making money and you don't have a big enough bankroll and you can't handle the pain, most people are going to be surprised. Don't bet basketball. Don't bet football. Those are the things you want to bet on because you're a fan. Just bet hockey and just bet baseball. And dogs and tennis. I got to check. Micah had I don't know if Brad got all those tennis plays out. He can message me later. Mike has been firing on tennis like a maniac. I didn't even look at the results yesterday.
I had a question. Big Dre, a question. If you can, in layman's terms, and I can answer this, can you explain the supposed new tax rules for sports betting if you're familiar with them? Yes. So hypothetically, with the new rules, if you bet 100,000, let's say in 2025, if you bet 100,000 and lose 100,000, you owe taxes on nothing. In 2026, if you bet 100,000 and you lose 100,000 and you win 100,000, let me rephrase that. Sorry, I confused you guys. In 2025, if you win 100,000 and you lose 100,000 over the whole year, you pay no taxes. In 2026, if you win 100,000 and you lose 100,000, you're paying taxes on $10,000. That's the supposed new tax rules.
If you're betting an illegal sportsbook.
If you're betting an illegal sportsbook, yes. There you go. Yeah, it grew back, man.
So tomorrow, today is January 8th. Today is 2 months since I shaved. 2 months.
And you're never shaving again, right?
My girlfriend's like, you're not going to grow that thing back. I'm like, no. I just keep lying. And then my daughter's like, you better grow it back. So it's so funny. She's like, really? You're going to grow it back? I'm like, well, no, I'll just forget to put the razor on the face. That's all.
Next question. Are you strictly only taking underdogs in hockey and baseball, or is that -1.5 still sprinkled in?
No more done with that -1.5.
No, it's strictly
we refine the system.
natural underdogs. No -1.5 favorites.
Well,
Natural.
baseball, I've never done that. I
Right.
was doing that in hockey early on. The results were fair at best. But now it's just pure. Like we're gonna have seven hockey plays today, and yeah, so I have them. But the reason why I don't have to worry about it, it could be between 7 and 10. The guy said. The reason why I haven't released him yet is because as long as he doesn't pull the trigger, the lines aren't going to move. So basically, I can control the flow of.
Well, we already know what's happening is
like look, we know when Albert Morty drops a play, it's like.
Well, we already know with our clientele, because we have some of the biggest bettors in the world taking our plays. As soon as you drop the games, we're watching the Don Best screens, and the line it lights up like a Christmas tree. And what's happening with NHL is it's moving the line from from an underdog to a favorite. This has happened with games that are like +110, +115, because we have so much money being moved between our clients and our own wagers. We're literally moving the line as a group. And the guys that end up like, oh, they want to wait an hour. It becomes that -110 rather than +110, which matters. That's a 20-cent difference, which in the long run absolutely matters. And that leads into the last question so far from Charlie. Are both of you placing the bets that you get? So we don't get bets from handicappers. Nobody in our circles is a handicapper.
Except Al.
But Al's unique. Al is more of a hybrid.
Yeah, he's using software. He's not using his
Right. He's selling his games as a handicapper.
But he's betting his games first.
And the lines move like crazy in college basketball. Here, you could answer this one from Dre. Question: do you have the affinity for specific sports due to how much money that specific sport made you?
I mean, it's not an affinity. It's just logic. If you put a gun to my head and said, what sport should you bet on? And with the greatest chance of making money, it's baseball. That's it. Followed by hockey. That's it. Anything with a spread, forget it's there. You can't have an affinity because everything is exactly 50%, right? I say this, we did the show 2 weeks ago, and I said at the end of the season, I remember the favorites were just killing it in the NFL. And right now, the NFL season is over. Obviously, we have the playoffs, right? Favorites were dogs were 51%, 138 and 131, which means you lose juice. So, I mean, it's like you can flip a coin to go 50% in any of this stuff. And so it's hard to have an affinity because, again, most people think picking winners has something to do with making money, and it doesn't at all. Money management has everything to do with making money. I talked to guys all day long. I was 8-0, and then I blew all my money on the 9th game. Okay, so you're okay. So he was 8-1. He was okay, and he didn't make any money. So, like, this is what I say to people, like, and I appreciate the fanfare. Like, you know, we talked about it. I've won 10 games in a row on YouTube, and I got all these people watching the videos now. And, you know, you're great. You're going to, and it's all bullshit systems. When I say bullshit, they're valid systems. Obviously, but it's still random. I could easily lose 10 in a row with the same systems, right? Just like Al has this amazing database. He had a shitty football season. It didn't matter. Now, what is crazy, I was talking off topic about how win-loss percentages don't matter. What do you think Al's record was going into yesterday in college basketball?
In college basketball, I would say,
and he's not
55%,
183 and 183,
50%. Okay.
In football, he was 207 and 187. So he was up 30 games, but he had a losing season because of the ratings. So again, like I said, money management is the key in this business. And I repeat myself, but I tell you what interests me, and this is between me and you, Costi, not the people, is that we do have a fan base. And as you noticed, I'm starting to get a lot of people that are calling and subscribing and dealing with me one-on-one. But I will say that like the hardcore people that like watch the show and comment on my vid, it's like, what does it take to get someone to cross over to the other side? What does it take to get a guy on this thing saying, if I'm going to bet $1,000 a game, and I'm literally telling the guy, you can make 150,000 in baseball, you can make 80,000 in NHL. Not you could, doesn't mean you will, right? Anything can happen. And I still think there's just too much emphasis on wanting to be right and caring what you bet on. Because I'm looking right now, Micah went 3-1 yesterday on tennis. I'm looking here. You know, he went 3-1 yesterday on tennis. You know, I don't know these people. Shibahara versus Vanareva, winner. Like, who's going to research this? The average person watching this doesn't care. Elena Rybakina, winner. Camille Marszak, winner. Sebastian Korda, no play, canceled. I guess he forfeited or she forfeited. And then we got, it's like, again, if you're thinking of this like a market, tennis, golf. I mean, the biggest score I ever made was what what was his name? Victor what?
In golf?
Victor, what was his last name?
Victor Hovland.
And I opened up an account for Micah, bet him to win, won like fucking 50,000. They were like, "Thank you, here's your 50. We're shutting your account down." It's like, you know, like the average guy I'm trying to give that golf match. I don't play golf. I don't know anything about golf. Well, what are you doing this for? You doing this?
And I get, you know what? I get that a lot with the NHL. And it's funny. The guys that are serious, that don't care about the fanfare, are exceptional clients of ours because they don't care about the sport. They don't care the shape of the ball. They're just simply in it for the rake, which is the rake of them making money and following a system. Then there's people that are obsessed with watching and analyzing each game like it matters. Nobody cares. That's why we always say you can't make money. Mitch always said you can't make money in the comments. Nobody cares about what you did yesterday. Nobody cares. It's all about how do you attack every single day like it's a complete new day. Every day is a snowflake in our industry. And the difference is there's a lot of people because there's so many sports bettors and our community is the biggest in the planet. There's nobody bigger than PickDawgz from a media standpoint on YouTube. We unfortunately get a lot of people, and I talk to so many guys on an everyday basis. Like I had a client yesterday. He may be watching. He's been watching us for 4 years. He calls in. I answer the phone, and he's like, wait a minute. Is this who I think it is? Is this Costi? Like, they're shocked that we actually are the ones that talk to you on the phone. Like, yeah. Then we go through it, and I give him literally a landscape of how to be successful right now in 2026. I recommended him being a member of the Dime Club, which is basketball, and a member of the NHL channel based on his bankroll, his limitations. And all he cared about was at the end of a 25-minute conversation, and he's telling me I'm the greatest and how excited he is about, he said, well, what can you show me tonight? And if it wins, I'll join tomorrow. And I literally said, sir, I already know you're never going to be a client. You're just hyper-focused on the short term, not the long term. I could give two shits about the performance of what last night's board was.
You're a better man than me. I would have slammed.
Doesn't matter. Will never matter. We don't sell picks. We sell systems. That's it. And to him, he couldn't. And this is a guy who's a professional PLO, 5-card PLO, which is Pot Limit Omaha, Eric. It's a poker game. And he's sitting there and he's sitting down at a table with 10 grand a night. And he even tells me, my money management in Omaha is terrible. I said, well, you're just your habits from your poker, being a poker pro, at 30, I think he was 35 years old or 38 years old, translates to why you can't be a successful sports bettor. You're just hyper focused on today, and you're never going to see the long term. And I even told him, I already know you will never be a client of ours, which is okay. I can't make somebody that is so hyper focused on the bad and turn him to the good. And it's kind of,
Yeah, but the difference
I get too emotionally invested in these things. I get emotionally
frustrated, and I'm
like, I know how these sports books operate. That guy will be the best client of the sports book for the rest of his life.
Let him be the best client of the sport. Who cares? Like Al, one thing Al's, like Al, because he's so unemotional, it's like, you're not going to change these clients. This is not a conversion process. We're not disciples of a religion. We're going to tell them this is it. This is it. This is how it works. If you don't want it, do it. I know it's like, it sounds so crazy when I say this. Like, I'm not a mean guy. Like, if I'm anything but a mean guy. I just have no empathy for bullshit. Like, I just don't care when people get upset when they lose, because they were losing before they called. I don't care when they're overly happy when they win. Like, when people text me about games, like, I'll give you an example. We got a game right now at halftime that Al put out. It's losing, right? Nobody's texting us. It's halftime. Who cares? What does it mean? It means nothing. Like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, the average guy is going to be sweating in. What should he do in the second half? What should he do in this? What should he do in that? So you need your birthday gift for everybody whose birthday's next week. Your birthday gift to yourself should be to not take it so personally.
Yeah, that will never happen, but I'll try. How about this? I'll do better.
Do better.
Here's a question for you, Eric. Do you ever wish to be a handicapper?
If you knew my story, you would know the answer is it's an interesting question. This is all an accident. Got a job at the company I now own when I was 13, part-time, answering the phones as a clerk. Listen, was brought up amongst people that ran with the computer group back in the 80s, because we live in Baltimore, Maryland, ground.
Well, no, what were you answering the phone? You were giving people the line on the game.
They had a chalkboard. When the guy calls, give him the Bears -3. Give him I wasn't making the picks. They would come out of the back room with the cigars and the cigarettes. Seriously, like an old mom movie. Like, there was no, like, you couldn't see your hand in front of you. Like, there was no, like, we don't smoke in the office. I'm 13 and I got to, like, plow through the smoke to see the chalkboard, right? And and he comes out, he writes up everybody that calls. Hey, I'm calling for my games. And then so I learned, and I'd say, well, I learned from these guys that were line makers. Duke was a line maker. He wasn't a handicapper. He made the line and sold his line to bookmakers before you could get it in the newspaper. So a lot of our clients were bookmakers, not gamblers. But he made such a sharp line that when the line was off, Duke himself was a big bettor. He would go off the wall, bet 5, 10, 20, 30,000 with elite, local bookmakers in Little Italy, from Little Italy, Baltimore, all the way to Little Italy of New York. And his partner, a guy who was a handicapper, may he rest in peace, Mike, was a runner for the Kosher Boys in the computer group. Just go online on Google, Kosher Boys computer group, 1980s sports betting. And so I grew up in that computer group world, and I learned the line makers are making the line. You're not really handicapping. Unless you're a line maker, you're not really handicapping, because a real handicapper is going to not look at the screen and make his own line. And then he's going to overlay his line against the line. And where he has an edge, he's going to take the difference. So a lot of people, what they call themselves handicappers, it's what I call opinion makers. They're not handicappers. They're opinion makers. Because if you know the line first and then you're researching the game, you're not making your own line. So you're actually not a handicapper. It's not to take anything away from the I mean, there's guys on PickDawgz that are just absolutely destroying it. Brian Bittler can't lose if he tried. I mean, Jack Wickens is destroying it. And I don't know what these guys do. I can't speak for these guys. I'm just saying the true definition of a handicapper is really a line maker that's then comparing his line with the real line. So no, why would I? Why not? Why? I'm a game broker. I'm going to be 53 on January 31st. I started doing this when I was 13. 40 years, same office, same place, same location, and I've never picked a game. So it confuses people because when they go watch my YouTube videos and I've won 10 individual selections in a row, it's not a streak, it's 10 individual selections in a row, and I'm giving the system and I'm just playing in a game. And I tell everybody, like, Costa, you know this, I don't even look at the games till I turn on the camera. Then I open up this Don Best screen. I look to see something that fits a system. Now my brain is full of systems. That's not handicapping. And I go, okay. And then I just plug it in. And the last 10 games that happened to be correct. And I was 20-10 in December. So, so for the average person, they think that I have an opinion because in the last 40 games that I've picked for free on YouTube, I've won 30. So but that is complete positive variance. There is no streak. There's no streak. It's just 40 individual games at 40 different locations where I picked 40 individual selections using systems that are in my brain since I'm 13 to 53 almost. And it's been a nice run. So people go, oh, Eric's got a good opinion. I don't have a good opinion. I have no opinion. My son has a better opinion than me. You know that. I mean, he's nailed every Ravens game this season.
The good and the bad.
He literally was FaceTiming when they took the lead and said, we will not win this game. Now, he didn't say how.
Well, it's funny you bring up the Ravens game. So I am the furthest thing away from a conspiracy theorist, right? Never been one for anything, sports related, non-sports related. And there's all these conspiracy theories in that Ravens game right before. So I had guys, I forgot who I was talking to, but right before Boswell missed the extra point, there was a line on the game that gave the Ravens to win was a very advantageous price. So people are texting, oh my God, they made it such an advantageous price for the Ravens to win right before you missed the extra point. Guys, the games that you're watching is on a delay. So,
exactly.
So the line that you saw, the sports book is already ahead of you unless you're at the game.
Many of these people what courtsiding is. You can't live bet unless you're courtsiding.
Yeah, courtsiding means you have to be actually at the game and relay that information to whoever's betting the game for you, because otherwise everything you watch is on a delay. Then
you can see it with the way the lines move. You can see.
Right. So then follow that up when Loop kicked the field goal, and the field goal was like from the end zone angle, it looked like it was going straight middle, and then it just went right. Where everybody has a conspiracy theory where the NFL had some kind of blower that blew this ball and made it no good. It's just, listen, I think what happens is because of all the riffraff that has happened in the NBA and all, the certain players playing their unders and in college, people are throwing games. I believe nowadays it's so much harder for that to happen simply because it's looked at. They've created organizations and teams to look at specific wagering that is uncommon, meaning if there is a weird betting trend that is coming in on a game, it's automatically flagged. It's happened in the NBA, and with legalization, I actually predicted it. I knew that with NIL and with the legalization and all these sports books, it's going to be a factor. But now that it's happened, it's going to get fixed. So people say, are the games fixed? I don't believe so. But even if you do believe that, you could be on the right side of the fixed game. So it tells you even more not to worry about individual games and money management being such a pivotal part of your betting. Because if you're managing your risk correctly, no individual game will ever matter. It should, like, that's the takeaway. If you have the right person dictating to you that you're following a system and your money management is perfect, no individual game by itself will ever matter. I think people, because of the NFL playoffs, those games are going to be heavily bet. Because of the bowl game tonight, that game is going to be heavily bet. While you're sitting throwing out 7 hockey games, and there's a really crazy, semifinal Fiesta Bowl that's happening tonight. So again, I don't think the whole conspiracy theory, for me, I don't believe in it. That's just my personal opinion, but I guess some people may. Eric, this one's for you. Have you ever met Lefty Rosenthal in real life? He's one of my heroes.
Well, I am left-handed and I'm Jewish, so I can be your hero too. So the answer is no, but I'll be the new Lefty. I'm Lefty and I'm Jewish.
Last question for Dre. I want to get into halftime betting, but I've been told pregame is the only way. What should I do? Dre, I say this with the utmost respect. You say these questions every week. Who is telling you this is what you should be asking yourself?
But the answer, but listen, I'm saying this with love. My daughter is going to be 18 years old. She's starting to get all her applications to go back to college, to go to college. Your tuition is to pay us. You're asking questions. We're the doctors. You're the patient. Pick up the phone. I charge $1,000 a month, $4,000 a month, $20,000 a month. Which college course do you want to take? Like you at some point, jump over the line and go to school. I'll be glad to teach you. Otherwise, it's great, but like all this. How many halftime bets did we play last night? Let me see here. Let me see what my halftime record was. I don't even know. Let's see here. Second half over 91 loser. Second half over 106.5 winner. Second half over loser. Second half winner. 2-2. 3-2. 5 second halves yesterday. Grinded out a small little profit. Do you think I picked those games? No. I had groups just blowing those games out. So it's like, again, there's no like, you want to get into halftime betting, but the reality is you can't pick winners. If you're watching this, nobody's picking winners. You have to understand this is all math-based and edge-based because the people that are betting these games are betting them for a completely different reason than you're betting the games. Everybody wants to get into everything, but nobody wants to go to school and pay tuition, whatever.
No, it's we get into these,
and it's with nothing but love. I'm just saying, we'll answer what we can answer, but stuff like high level, like you don't understand. Nobody understands. If you want to be a halftime bettor, volume. If you want to be David Miller or Micah Smith, volume. You're going to bet like the guy that never said anything when he's talking about betting 1,000 a game. You want to bet 1,000 a game? Bet 100 games a day. Okay. No, this is what it takes. Do you know we have had guys that we've given high volume strategies to that have won. They'd quit because they didn't like the volume. They weren't happy winning the way we were winning. Not only do you want to win, you want to win your way. So we got something for everybody. We got medium volume, we got low volume, we got high volume, we got everything. So take a shot. Give Costi a call, Big Red.
Here, I'll answer this one. Speaking of halftime betting, Mitch was the GOAT at NFL halftime bets. Will that come back at all? Or that's something that Mitch did. We have had NFL halftimes and college football halftimes all year. We have a group. It's not us personally. Now, we used to, when Mitch was still alive, we would do the halftime show, but that wasn't particularly halftime bets. because anything on the premium pick side that you could buy from the different handicappers does not have halftime bets. So he would do a halftime show and he would, rattle out the games that he liked. But in reality, it's not just the NFL. It's half times.
But again, this goes back to nobody who's really somebody that's profitable in sports betting gives a shit about the NFL. Like that mongoloid. I'm not even going to say his name. I don't want to disrespect him in New Jersey. That mongoloid that, was trying to get down to whittle his $500,000 deficit. All this concentration on football is great for the P&Ls and the stock prices of the sports books. It's 18 games. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is volume. And the only way you can get volume is in college basketball and baseball. I mean, that's really the truth. You can't even get that kind of volume in college football. You get it one day a week, Saturday. But every day is a Saturday. Like Al was saying on yesterday's video, 57 college basketball games yesterday and 57 college basketball games today. Talking about 114 games in 2 days where you have volume to pick from.
Absolutely. What else we have on the docket? Yeah,
talk about how people are under the assumption that we'll sell them whatever we can sell them just to sell them a product. And people let's talk reality. You had somebody offer you $30,000 the other day, and
we have so many different streams that product. So we have products that are not even pick related. It's just the education side. So David Miller tuition. David Miller runs a mentorship. For those that don't know him, definitely click YouTube, go to YouTube, search for David Miller, Spencer Cornelia. That's the guy that did the interview on him. And his betting operation, he actually runs a live call group. So like while they're in game, he's finding market edges. And this isn't a product that you could really have with a couple accounts. You have to have a lot of accounts. The accounts last 2 to 6 weeks. But there's products that we offer that are outside of the pick business, where you could do it yourself. We're basically teaching you how to fish. We're not bringing you the fish. I'd say 99% of our demographic do not want to learn how to fish. They want to be just told what to bet, when to bet at the right percentage of their bankroll. But there's guys out there that are quants that understand that Eric and I are very well connected in this industry, and we know the biggest and most successful sports betting minds on the planet. And those guys charge a fee to be basically a tuition fee for you to just do an entire course where you learn it and then be able to replicate it yourself if your situation that's what you're looking for. Because some guys, literally, like that guy spends 8 to 10 hours in front of his betting screens every single day, 7 days a week.
Brutal.
That is his life. He was selling cars 2 years ago. He was offered an opportunity to be a professional sports bettor. He looked at it and said, there's no way the professional sports bettors make money because of what he thought the sports betting was based on the entertainment side, where most bettors that are entertainment bettors lose. And he learned a strategy, and that strategy basically is not scalable. He's made a lot of money from it, but he's realized that he can't scale and continue to make money off of it. So he's looking for an alternate way to be able to learn. And what David Miller, it's called top-down betting, where he's finding, like somebody mentioned earlier on this podcast in the comments about Pinnacle, where he's looking at Pinnacle, he's looking at BetChris, he's seeing what the shark books are offering, and then he's finding value on books like FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, or offshores that are giving him a better price. That's called expected value. He's getting a better value than what the sharp books are offering. And it's knowing the skill of how to be able to do that yourself is not something you could learn overnight. We used to have a 3-part bi-weekly Zoom class that we offered a couple years ago. There's just a lot of things that we offer that are not specifically related to you buying into a syndicate that's betting the games themselves. So yes, to an amateur that's watching this for the first time, or is used to watching the morning show where we give out picks, or is used to watching any of the free pick videos or buying from handicappers, it sounds like it's a completely different language, which it is. But for seasoned experienced guys that are really looking for how do we monetize a strategy themselves, because again, at the end of the day, the guys that are very experienced, they don't want to pay for a service. They want to learn how to do it themselves and then be able to make the revenue from the skill set that they learn, which is completely different business model than what we really offer on the PickDawgz platform. Because remember, prior to PickDawgz, Eric's been doing this 36 years. Prior to PickDawgz, I was doing it for over a decade. So we've been in this game for so long. We were brought to this platform for our skill set.
Right. To bring something that other than handicapping. So when that person asked me about, do I ever wish I would be a handicapper? I wouldn't be here because Mitch wouldn't have cared about me if I was a handicapper. Mitch, when I say Mitch, the organization while Mitch was here, may he rest in peace, and him not being here, you get 100 guys a week. Can I be a handicapper? Can I be a handicapper? I'm a good handicapper. I can pick winners. Can I be on your site? That's not how he found us. He found us dealing with like syndicates. Like, who are the guys out there moving the syndicate info? Oh, I want those guys on my site to give the community something they have access to that they otherwise would not have access to. And how much time's left, Costi? Oh, we got 8 minutes. And that goes back to the internet marketing of Instagram and Facebook and stuff. We don't do any of that stuff. We're just on YouTube. And I always, I laugh. I screenshot these ads. I must be the most geo-targeted motherfucker on the planet when it comes to the sports betting ads, which is great because I get to see all this dumb shit. And I shake my head and I go, how does anybody fall for this shit? You could see under the thing, it says sponsored, which means they paid money for this ad, right? And between cycling, bass guitars, records, I get sports gambling ads. Like, I'm the end user, right? It's like, dude, I've been in this, like, I'm on the other side. But it's amazing that everything is to make it look easy. We got a system. AI is going to make you a lot of money. Well, all you got to do is click this button for $99. And I'm thinking, and then it's like, wild. I made $9 million, and he's standing in front of his rented Lamborghini, and he's can't grow. This is 2 months. These guys couldn't. My son is 20 and has more facial hair than these so-called guys with 200 million. They looks like they just had their face waxed with a laser. They look like they're 14 years old, and they're on there. I made $200 million last year, and click here below for $99. I'm going to show you exactly how. Who believes this shit? But caveat emptor, there's a sucker born every minute. And it's like, this is the world we live in. Everybody wants it easy. Everybody wants it cheap. Everybody wants it quick. Do you know when I first started putting out the fees on my YouTube video, Costi, the amount of hateful comments I would get? $4,000 a month. Do you realize $4,000, $20,000 a month, 50? It's like, what do you want? You want me to sell my information for major betting groups for $25? It's not worth it. I'm going to raise $1 million for baseball, have it pre-sold before we even get to March 25th. 40 guys are going to pay $25,000 each, and they're going to make, $500,000 to $1.5 million playing baseball. And I got to worry about like going on, like I'm going to compete with these guys when I'm on the phone with somebody. Well, I saw this guy. Like, the best is when I'm on the phone with a guy and he goes, "Did you ever hear this guy?" And I know, and they're shocked. No, the guy probably got into business 2 days ago. I'm not like, what do you mean? Did I ever hear this guy? I keep my blinders on dealing with professional bettors that put their own money on the games. And where we deal with Al as a handicapper, but where he is different is, yeah, when he releases an 8 unit, he might have 80 G's on the game. So he's an athlete. He's not what I call a capper. He's a better capper, meaning he bets, then he sells the plays. For me, the biggest thing to teach people is that if it was that easy as these, I mean, I told you, Costi, they all look identical. Whoever's doing these designs for these quick ads, they all look the same. Everyone. Ferrari, Bentley, gold chain, blah, blah. Click, I made millions and now I'm banned. Well, now, if somebody says that's bullshit because you can't make millions because you're going to get banned before you make millions. Why didn't you sell that guy the product yesterday? You didn't sell the product yesterday because why? Because he got banned. What's up, Troy? Nobody can see you. I'm doing my live show. Hold on. Why you didn't have any basketball yesterday? All right. Why didn't you? All these guys, why didn't you sell the guy the product? Because he doesn't have enough books. And what did Micah tell him? He will get banned. Why take the guy's money? Explain that to these people in the last 4 days.
Right, because he was limited in the amount of books that he had as a backup. Because again, he's only 2 years in the business, and he didn't have enough books to be able to go through it. Meaning, your average account span when you're a live EV bettor lasts 2 to 6 weeks. So if you don't have at least 10 to 20 accounts to be able to filter through, you're going to lose your accounts and you're not going to be able to continue betting.
Right.
That's how hard it is to keep. And this is EV betting. So it's different. It's in-game. It's not something that we sell as a product. It is only something that you could
The point is, we don't need to take people's money. Micah was like, yeah, I could take his money, but he's going to be disappointed because I'm going to teach him how to do it. He's going to lose all his accounts. I'm not doing that. It's not worth it. Why should I don't need the guy's money. So like, is that the kind of people you want to do business with? Or do you want to do business with? Oh yeah. Cause he could have told him exactly what he wanted to hear. Oh yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Not worth it, A, monetarily, and it's not worth it just karma-wise. Why shred the guy's last 10 accounts he has?
Back to, I know we bounced around in the last 10 minutes, but you were mentioning about people that call you and say they want to be on the PickDawgz site. I had a client. I've never talked about him on the show.
Man, I got a lot of guys that win.
He tried to scam me. The scam was, I want to become a client of yours.
Oh.
I'll call you in a couple hours. He built this like 30-minute relationship with me, only to tell me he was only interested about us hiring him because he wins betting props. So he basically was not honest from the start. I said, you know what? If you would have approached me originally and said, this is what your intent was, I would have connected you to the right person and potentially put you on the list if we decided to bring on a props bettor. But he tried to, and it's all BS. He's like, I'm the best in the world. I hit 75% right there. That's a lie. Nobody hits 75%. 2, I make more money in props than you do. It was like, whose dick is bigger? Oh, so I don't care. And then he's continuously sending me props of what he's hitting. Like, I care about his bets. Nobody cares about what you bet. Nobody cares. I told him, I said, you're a goofball. You'll never make it on the site. And it was, again, it was and the problem is, because I'm almost 43 and you're almost 53, there's a lot of people that are in their early 20s that think that generation is just built differently. And to them, they believe like that hype bullshit that I should jump up and down and be excited about. Nobody fucking cares. He's probably watching the show. Nobody cares, brother.
Next Thursday, you'll actually be 43 because your birthday is next Wednesday. So everybody give him an early happy birthday on January 14th. And yeah, like I said, reach out to us. We're here. If we can help you, we'll help you. If not, keep watching. Again, it never ends. It's, we took 2 weeks off because of we had Christmas Eve, and then we had Christmas Day, and then we had New Year's Day. Now we're back, and we get into the high volume. Tennis is picking up. NHL is here, and before you blink, it's an early baseball season. It starts on March 25th.
But there you have it, guys. Episode 34. If you guys have any questions, right in the description is our phone number. You can reach us direct. If you want to become a client of ours and you want to know about the opportunities of how you want to be a client, and if it could benefit you, the number is right in the description. Hit us up, and we will be back here next week. Same time, as always, 1 o'clock on Thursdays for episode number 35. And I will be 43 years old at that point. Anything else, Eric?
That's it, man. See you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week.